Hey everyone, welcome to the Leathercraft Community Podcast Show. Today I'm joined by a special guest. His name is John Fischer. He is the owner and the CEO of Milwaukee Steel Rule Die company. Now, his dies, they cut various different materials, including leather, and I am so excited for you guys to hear his story and what this company is all about. So, with that said, welcome to the show, John. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Fantastic.
Awesome. So, where are we currently located?
Currently in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin.
Gotcha. And this is a pretty big facility. There's is it just one building or multiple buildings?
It's one building. It was originally a smaller 5,000 square foot building, and it was added on, so now it's about 15,000 square feet.
Now, can you tell the audience, how did MSRD or Milwaukee Steel Rule Dies begin?
Well, I worked for a die shop, local die shop. I was there for about 4 years. During the housing market crash that had happened, I was abruptly let go from the company. Pretty devastated at the time, couldn't find a job anywhere. Ended up speaking to Mike Adams from SDS, Adams Technology, which is now SDS. I met him at a trade show, and he asked me what I was going to be doing because he knew that I was not working at the company anymore. And I just told him I didn't know. He gave me a phone call the next day, started talking to him about possibly opening a shop. I told him there was no way. I don't have any money. I was just there trying to kill time. I loved the industry. I loved what I was doing. Mike asked numerous questions about my past. I was very upfront about every job and every situation that I had that might affect doing any business with him. He gave me the chance. He sent me a bending machine. Didn't ask any money for the bending machine. I started making dies. You need more than just a bending machine to make the equipment. You need to have laser and some other machines. He gave me the bending machine. I started ordering dies from another company. I wouldn't give that away right now, but I would have my die boards burned at another company in Illinois. They would get put on the bottom of a bus. They got shipped up in the bus, Greyhound bus, Badger bus or Greyhound. I can't remember which one now. It's been so long. They'd come up to the old bus station in Milwaukee. I'd be waiting at the bus station. I would pick the dies up from underneath the bus, thank the bus driver, and haul out of there over to my shop. I just had myself there. Built a couple benches with the bending machine. I would knife the dies, and I would deliver them the next day. I was in a secured building, so nobody knew I didn't have a laser, and that's pretty much how I started.
So what kind of materials do your dies cut? I know I use them for leather, but I know that you guys make other dies for other materials. Can you describe that whole cutting material difference?
Yeah, we use we make dies for cutting any type of boxes, gaskets for cars. We've done stuff for NASA. Standee displays, folders, bottleneckers, anything that gets advertised. Right now, we're basically in every state in the country. We ship UPS, some FedEx, mostly UPS, out everywhere. A little nod for UPS there. We ship all over the country. It's great doing business with states that are border Wisconsin because we can ship ground and they get it the next day, and it's pretty inexpensive.
Yeah. So. Yep. And then, so your dies, are they all made with the same material, or are they made with various different materials?
Right. So the different types of bases that we have for the dies are the Lexan, which is the bulletproof glass. We also have we use 5/8 maple, okay, and 5/8 birch, mostly birch on our larger dies. And those are usually carton work, not the leather dies. We also use Rayform, which is a real heavy, thick plastic.
Oh, really?
Those are used usually when a customer does not want anything in the atmosphere to affect the die board from shrinking or growing. Because it's wood, it can shrink and grow. Even though it's plywood, it's specially made. It's still it can shrink and grow, especially if we send something down to Atlanta in the middle of summer. It's going to shrink or grow, and they have to marry up to a steel plate. So it has to be perfect. So in rare instances, we will do reform dies as well.
Gotcha. And then what is the shelf life and durability of one of your dies?
So shelf life and durability, they can last forever. I mean, we've got some old maple dies in here from 20 years ago that were made, and they are solid. And it's a little different maple than they have now. A lot of stuff comes from tree farms now, but that maple is solid. It's very, very heavy when they come in.
Hey y'all, I want to talk to you about the very first sponsor for the Leathercraft Community Podcast Show, and it is Leather Machine Company. If you are looking to upgrade your workshop or to speed up the process on making items, then look no further than Leather Machine Co. They have various sewing machines of multi-purpose needs, along with leather cutting and splitting machines. Check out their website or give them a call for more information. Now, let's go back to the show. Now, your dies, they can be used on hydraulic clicker presses or hand presses, or do they need to be used one or the other, or can they both be used?
They can be used pretty much any press that you have that could put enough pressure on it to cut. But usually it's a clicker press is what the leather dies are used on because they need enough pressure to cut through. There's ejection rubbers on the dies, which is the pink rubber that's on the outside. It's placed and spaced evenly. If you made it solid rubber, it'd take too much pressure to cut. You'd have to hit the die really hard and you would damage the cutting edge. So we space the rubber pieces out enough to cut.
Now, is there a certain limit on size of a die that you can make for leather or no?
Whatever size the prices we can make. We dovetail dies. So currently we have a company we make. These are wood dies though. We don't dovetail the plastic, and they're the Lexan. But wood dies, we make some that are 10 feet long. We have a van that's got just over 10-foot cargo space in it, and we load it up. We have a company that orders a lot of dies that are 10 feet long. Don't want to give away the customer.
Yeah. I would also assume that your cutting space is also the determining factor of how big of a die that you can order. Correct. As well. So now, can you walk us through the entire process from A to B on how someone would put in a die and how it gets made and then gets shipped to them?
So if somebody was looking for a leather die, the easiest way for us to produce the die is to get an electronic file from the customer. That can be any kind of DXF file, a CAD program. Most of the CAD programs export a DXF file. We do not produce the files here for customers. We prefer that they send the file. We will design the die and send it over for proof to them before we produce the die. But we will take it and do everything that we need to do to clean up the job. Some of the programs will send over, if it's just an arc, the arc might have 6 points on it. So we want to clean it up so there's only 2 points on it, so it runs cleaner on our machines. That's a big deal. That's what makes a good die. Cleaning up the files and being able to bend the arcs nice and smooth.
And then, so after that you clean up the die, where does it go from there?
Once the die is designed, we send it over to our laser department. Basically gets put on the laser. It's burned within an hour. It's burned and shipped off to the next department. And
then so now, design. We have the acrylic, not acrylic, but the Lexan. It's cut out. It's got the design of what the customer has. And then who does the next step?
So the next step goes into what we call as a knifing room. Kind of crazy name to call it, but the rule that we're putting in the dies is razor sharp. So okay. It's called knife. Yep. So the guys putting it in are called knifers. They're basically taking, they put if it was this die, they put the Lexan die on the bench. They have the razor sharp rule comes in a coil. It's put on a bending machine. The machine spins the coil, and as the coil feeds through the machine, it's bending, notching, and lipping the part to bend it to make it look exactly like this.
Awesome. And then they take it, do they just like push it in, or how do they put it inside the Lexan?
So once the die comes into the knifing room, we have to get the rule into the die.
Yep.
So we're using a rawhide mallet to pound the steel into the die.
Okay, perfect. So after the knifing room, then what department does it go to?
So after the knifing room, we send the dies over to our assembly department. With the leather dies, are just using rubber pieces. So basically that's what's on this die. And they're spaced out a little bit. We also have rubber cutting machines that I do have a sample here I'd like to show you. So we have this die, which the rubber is cut as machine cut. So this is just a sample of a little box.
Yes.
But it's machine cut, and as you can see, it's basically wrapped all the way around the die, the inside and out.
Yeah,
So
it's
these
lovely.
these are going on a high-speed press, so they need a little bit more rubber on, and you can see it's not as wide as the other rubber that's on the other dies. But and like there's a little heart in the middle.
Yeah,
So it can get pretty shapy and pretty detailed.
And so now the foam on the leather die, is that like ejection foam?
Oh yeah, this rubber ejection foam. We have probably 30 different types of rubber that we use. This works the best for the leather.
And so what is the warranty like on a die like this? Do they ever break, or what happens does the metal come out of the Lexan, and how should someone ever contact you if that happens?
So we stand by obviously the product that we produce.
Yep.
If the rule was to pull out, we replace the die. Sometimes we would make a new one. If it warrants it, we'd make a new one right away just to get it out to the customer. That can happen from time to time, depending on the person that's cutting, how hard they hit the job. But what we do say in our industry is we guarantee one hit, because the first hit, you could put it in the press and damage it. So once it's hit, they say, oh, there's the warranty ends. But that's really not what we do here at Milwaukee Steel Rule Die. We're gonna walk you through to find out what happened. Usually, if the die's damaged, usually there's a reason why. So we'll get the die back we send the die back and the material that they were cutting, so we can see actually what happened, so we can correct it.
Gotcha.
There's very few problems. Usually it's because the pressure is put down too high on the presses. That's usually where the damage comes from.
And so if someone had a design in their head and they're like, oh my gosh, I need this die made, do you guys offer dies like design services? Because maybe someone doesn't know how to use a computer or know how to use like Adobe Illustrator or something like that. Do you guys offer that service to them or no?
We do not offer full design services from say if you're going to write it on a napkin and you want to hand it in, hey, can you make this? Because we get a plenty of those. But for us, what we do is on our website, there's some direction on our website who to contact and who you can contact to try to get a file designed if you're not a designer. But there are some free CAD programs out there that can do pretty much simple shapes. And we can clean the files up too if we get them and they're not perfect. We could usually clean them up or scale them. We can do that too.
Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to the show's second sponsor, and that is Leathercrafters Journal magazine. They are based out of Rhinelander, Wisconsin. They publish 6 magazines per year covering a large variety of topics such as how to do projects, event details, where to buy tools, and even a classified section. There is so much to see and read from cover to cover. Head on over to their website and sign up for a subscription so you can stay up to date on all things leathercraft. All right, so with your dies, now do they have to be restricted to only thick leather or just thin leather, or can they be used for both? Or how does that all work out with your dies?
So what we do is we produce a heavy duty die. You can cut thin leather or thick leather with it. We do like to know what you're cutting because sometimes there's too much detail to cut. So we have to use a thinner, which is a 2-point rule, which is 28 thousandths wide. A 3-point would be 42 thousandths wide. Maybe that's getting too much detail. But basically every die that we produce for them is heavy duty. Unless there's a lot of detail in it and we cannot produce it like that, it's going to be heavy duty. We weld the joints, we use heavy duty punches, and we put enough ejection rubber on that we should not have a problem with the ejection. If there's too much rubber on, they can take it off.
So what I like about the dies is that you guys put an etch in on the corners. You have your logo, you have the name. I think there's a few other little pieces of information on there. Do you know what that says?
So this one is a luggage tag.
Awesome.
So the customer wants a luggage tag on there so that they can reference the job. Anytime they want to look at it, they reference it with luggage tag. We put our job number on the top. So if they need 2 more dies made, they just send us the number. I need 2 more of those. We can produce them pretty quick.
That's awesome. What a beautiful little thing on touch. I feel like that's a little cherry on top of the cake there. And then what is the turnaround time for a typical die? Like the average die, I would say, is yay big. It's maybe, it's not too big. But for like a leather person, it's like, oh man, I really want to get this job done. Some customer wants 100, whatever it is. What is the turnaround time that you guys think that you can pump out a die to them?
Usually 3 to 5 days would be the
That
turnaround
is
time.
incredible.
Yeah. Now, if we got something that's red hot and it's got to go, in a day, we usually get it out. But typically would be 3 to 5 days.
So for the viewers, do you guys offer any like sales or anything promotional things that happen? Because I know some people have like a slew of dies, like a wallet or anything. That is a lot of dies, and they want to get them made. Do you guys offer any promotional deals?
Yeah, every so often we do run buy 5 get 1 free.
Gotcha. That's awesome. And now I want to get back to the die making real quickly. Now, are all the dies made via the machine, or are any of them handmade and hand bent and stuff like that?
So all the equipment that we have is top of the line equipment. It's all, I think everything's within 4 years. So the technology is definitely up to date. But as we call them, the knifers, they use their hand bending dies. So they do still hand bend if there is something that's intricate, something that the machines cannot do. So all the knifers have the experience of running the machines, but they also have to know how to use the dies to actually bend the parts.
That's awesome, John. Awesome. Well, hey, I want to thank you for your time. And thank you so much for everything.
You got it. You got it.
I personally have so many of your dies, like dies for my coasters, my square ones, my round ones, my dog pet products that I use. So it feels really good to support a small mom and pop shop who started from grassroots. And this is a great little thing that you got going on here. The turnaround time is absolutely stunning for me personally. I feel like every time I put in a die order, it's on my doorstep in 7 days. So again, I can't thank you enough. I think what your team is doing is phenomenal. And you guys are a well-oiled machine over here. So I'm very, very pleased.
Thank you,
and
Steve.
I know that anybody who orders these dies is going to be like, gosh, this is perfect. It's because it's machine bent. It's just, you guys, it is so good. Well, with that, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.